Hello, and in the last two videos of our Creating a Social Networking series, we installed WordPress MU, and then we installed the complementary system to make that into more of a social network called bbPress. So what we now have is WordPress MU and bbPress kind of layered on top of each other so we can work with it. What today's going to be is a tour of general settings, lots of little tidbits you're going to want to do. The next video is going to be on theming a social networking site, because obviously there are specific things you want to have to take into consideration, and theming a site with BuddyPress on it isn't like, well, it is like, but it's not exactly the same as theming a WordPress site, because there's going to be specific considerations there. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to notice when you look at this is a bbPress area that you now have, and you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff: component setup, forum setup, and profile field setup. We're going to kind of go through each one of those as we go along, because they all serve an important purpose and they're all part of this bbPress package. But by default we're in the general settings tab here, and you're going to want to change some of these things, because just want to set them to your liking. I'll just go through each one of these and see what I would recommend setting them as. You need to set a base group name, because you need something for all your user created groups to stem off of. You want to create what you want to say for when the user enters their name on the profile. So you might want to say full name instead of name. You can also set WordPress profiles thinking, because obviously this is based on WordPress, so would be stupid not to leverage the things of WordPress. So we can do it if you're logged into the social network, you're logged into the blog and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to set that. Makes sense to hide the admin bar for logged out users. This is the admin bar. And Gravitar are these pictures next to comments, and it has a Gravitar service. So you're gonna want to decide whether you're gonna incorporate that, and a lot of that is gonna depend on your theme. And we're gonna profile wire posting, whether you want that to be anonymous or not. I'm not going to allow that. Disable user account deletion. I don't think that makes any sense, because if someone doesn't want to use their account anymore, it has less strain on our server, which is cool. Now, disable global forum directory. Now, I think this is a bad idea, because it allows for your site hierarchy to get messed up, and I'm going to talk all about that later in later videos, because you're going to want to check that, and then you can select default Gravitar. Now, I don't like any of these Gravitars. Frankly, I think they look childish, and I'm going to write some code in my theme when I'm theming this with you guys, that if they don't have a user-defined Gravitar, one doesn't show up at all. So it doesn't really matter what I put here. So I'm just going to save the changes. Moving right along, we've got our component setup. Now, these are different things you want to integrate into your social network. So when you see the things, there's all the different things you're gonna have. Whether you want to track user activity, that's a feature. Whether you want to track user activity specifically in relation to the host blog comments and such. Whether you want to have forums, which will actually install a beta forum application developed by the guys from WordPress called bbPress, and it will use that. So this is all very integrated. You can also have friends and groups and private messaging. You can also have a comment wire, which I'm not going to enable because that's not much different than the profile wire. You can extend you can extend the customizability of profiles, which I'll get to later in the theming. And you can also allow status updates, which I'm not going to allow because I feel like it's in too much danger of becoming like a Twitter, and personally I find those irritating, but that's just me. So we're going to hit save settings. Moving right along, we've also got set up for the forums, which you're going to need to set up an installation on bbPress. So if we just hit that, it's going to allow us to have an installation, but the reason why we had to click a button there is because it had to install something completely different on our servers, so it's good that it gave us a full disclosure there. We also have profile field set up, so if you want someone to have to enter something when they sign up for a profile, you can do it there. And again, this is going to get really important when it comes to theming. So there we've gone through all the bbPress specific options. If we go down to our settings here, there's a couple of things that we're going to want to change. You're obviously going to want to change the slogan and things like that. These are pretty default WordPress options. But one thing you are going to want to change is the permalinks. You're going to want to make it a custom structure and just have post name there. Also, you're just going to want to make sure that all your users are fine, and that they control their own options. They have access to themes, they have access to groups, and if you go into the options panel, you can again have banned users and have the ability to add new users. And this is crucial. Define what rank you want in the WordPress hierarchy you want to be used, because you obviously want some people that have editorial authority and some people to be only authors down the bottom of the food chain, and you want some people to be able to comment. So that's an important thing there. I'm going to have everyone set as a subscriber, which means they're going to be able to come to email and comment. We've also got some user stuff here. If you don't want people to be able to sign up to your website at all, enter the username of their email address in there. You can set up sample data for when people sign up for blogs, which is very important. I'm going to allow people to create their own blogs because that's the kind of joy of a social network. You can choose whether you want people what you want people to be able to upload, because having loads of video or loads of music can get you into copyright problems and have your server in a problem with all the bandwidth. So we're just gonna aim all of these, because I just want people to use all of them. But if you're making a real social network, you certainly want to put much more thought into that. You can also define the file types you want people to use, and that kind of links to that one there. You can so define something that an admin used, define the file types, and define whether they want to be able to use whether you want people to be able to use that. And then you can also set site administration from down there. So that's the basics of that. You can also define lots of different things. You can create new blogs and new users. You can also change your own master blog. Obviously, this is actually a master blog, so from this master blog, any things will get pushed to the main page. We've got a visit tab, which has an option to go to a random member, a random group, or a random blog, which is kind of good for discovery, I guess. But I'm not a fan of that, so that's something I'm certainly gonna be getting rid of in theming. Another quick tip is to use the WordPress the WordPress plugin implant. So I'm gonna add a few plugins, and I'm gonna add a few complementary bbPress. I'm gonna add a few BuddyPress plugins for SEO and that kind of thing. So you can choose whether you want to import your stuff. You can have custom profile filters, which is very, very cool. I'm gonna enable the SEO plugin and hit install. And that's going to add some more functionality to allow us to be SEO. So now if we go into settings, permalinks, we can change some more stuff there. And if we head on over to BuddyPress, we've got a new option, SEO for BuddyPress, and we can do things like set URLs and stuff. I don't think much to this horrible interface, but it does the job. You can define tokens for URLs, and then do something about the main blog and general settings. So this is very, very cool, guys. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about theming and how to customize your WordPress site to make it your own. Thanks for watching.